The sun was setting, casting long shadows on the cozy neighborhood supermarket. Inside the store, the usual evening chaos reigned. People were rushing to buy groceries before closing time. Cashiers were working nonstop, and a soft noise filled the space. Among this crowd was an elderly woman who was slowly putting the necessary groceries in a basket. She looked tired but focused, carefully checking the price tags. When she reached the checkout, she put her purchases on the tape. She looked for her wallet in her bag, but suddenly realized it was gone. Panic began to grip her. She felt her pockets, hoping to find at least a few dollars, but there was nothing. Behind her in line, she could hear dissatisfied sighs, and the cashier waited patiently, although his eyes showed fatigue. The woman tried to explain that she might have forgotten her wallet at home and began to put the groceries back in the basket. But before she could finish, a man in the line behind her stepped forward. He told the cashier that he would pay for her purchases. The elderly woman looked up, and a mixture of shame and relief could be seen on her face. The man smiled, showing that it was not a problem. When her purchases were paid for, she thanked the stranger, took the bags, and left the store. Her heart was filled with gratitude, but she never asked him his name. It seemed to her that it was just a gesture of kindness from an ordinary person, but she had no idea how significant this act would be in the future. She returned home and told the story to her daughter. It turned out that her daughter was Angelina Jolie, who, after hearing about this incident, decided to find the man who helped her mother. She was interested not only in gratitude but also in the story of this man, because such an act of kindness has always had a deeper meaning. Angelina Jolie was sitting in a cozy corner of her home, listening to her mother's story about a stranger who helped her at the supermarket. Her mother, excited and gesturing, described how the man had paid for her groceries when she had left her wallet at home. Angelina listened attentively, but her intuition told her that this story was not accidental. She knew that every good deed has a reason, and she wanted to know more about this man. Using her influence and contacts, Angelina began her search. She approached the supermarket manager, who, at her request, reviewed the surveillance footage. The video showed a middle-aged man who looked tired, but his kindness was obvious. He paid for his purchases, smiled calmly, took his things, and left. The supermarket manager was able to provide a few details. It turned out that the man often came into the store at the same time, buying only what he needed. He did not talk to the staff more than necessary, but was always polite. According to the cashiers, his name was John, and he lived nearby. Angelina decided to find him. She turned to the locals, asking about John. Gradually, a picture began to emerge. People described him as a humble but very kind man who was always ready to help. However, they also mentioned that he rarely appeared on the streets lately and looked exhausted. After several days of searching, Angelina finally found out John's address. She felt that this stranger deserved her attention and gratitude for what he had done for her mother. However, when she arrived at his house, she realized that the story would be much deeper than she had imagined. When Angelina knocked on the door of the modest house, it opened after a short pause. A middle-aged man stood before her, looking tired, but his eyes still radiated warmth. It was John. He greeted her in a low voice, surprised by the unexpected visitor. Angelina, without revealing her identity, introduced herself as the daughter of the woman he had helped at the supermarket. She expressed her gratitude and asked for permission to talk. John invited her into his house. Inside, everything was modest but clean. There were pictures on the walls showing that he had once had a happy family. Angelina noticed a shelf with books and several drawings that obviously belonged to a child. She asked about it, and John began to talk. He admitted that he had recently gone through a difficult time. His wife had died a few years ago, and since then he had been raising his daughter alone. But 2 years ago, he was diagnosed with cancer. He was forced to quit his job because of the disease, and now his savings are almost gone. John tried to maintain a normal life for his daughter, but it was becoming increasingly difficult. "I just do what I can," said John. "Helping others is something that reminds me that I can still make a difference. It gives me the strength to keep going." Angelina was touched by his story. She realized that this man, despite his own problems, continues to share his kindness with others. She could not remain indifferent to his situation and decided to help. John, however, did not ask for help. His modesty and strength of spirit impressed Angelina even more. She promised herself that she would do everything possible to change his life for the better. But to do so, she needed to prepare, and she knew that her next step would be crucial. Upon returning home, Angelina Jolie began to think about how best to help John. She realized that a simple gesture of gratitude was not enough. His story, his strength of spirit, and his ability to help others, even in the most difficult moments, inspired her to take action that could change his life. She first turned to her contacts in the medical field. Angelina learned about one of the best clinics that specialized in cancer treatment. She contacted the head doctor and told him about John's situation. The doctor agreed to organize an examination and draw up a treatment plan. Angelina personally covered the costs. In addition, she decided to take care of John's daughter's future. Angelina arranged a meeting with the director of a local art school, learning that the girl had a talent for drawing. She arranged for a scholarship for the child so that she could develop her talent without financial obstacles. Angelina also engaged her friends in organizing a charity campaign. She decided to tell John's story through the media, not revealing his identity, but emphasizing his kindness and resilience. The campaign attracted the attention of caring people who began to send support for John's further treatment and help for his daughter. A week later, Angelina returned to see John. She brought him news of a clinic that was ready to accept him and told him about the possibilities for his daughter. John was stunned. At first, he refused to accept help, believing that there were others who needed more. But Angelina convinced him, saying that his own kindness was the reason for this help. "You gave me more than you can imagine when you helped my mother," Angelina said. "Now it's my turn to do something for you." John accepted the help with tears in his eyes. This was a new chance for him and his daughter, a chance they had gotten because of one simple but very meaningful act. Several months passed. John underwent a full examination and began treatment at a leading clinic. Doctors noted that although the fight against the disease was not easy, John had a good chance of recovery. This gave him strength and faith in the future. During treatment, he remained calm and focused, knowing that his daughter was now safe. Thanks to Angelina's help, John's daughter started studying at a prestigious art school. Her talent was fully developed, and she became one of the most promising students. Her drawings began to be exhibited at local exhibitions, where they attracted the attention of many visitors. For her, it was not only an opportunity to express her emotions, but also a way to thank her father for his sacrifice. Angelina continued to support John and his daughter. She visited them frequently, inquired about their affairs, and provided any assistance they needed. Her efforts also inspired others to support those in need. The charity campaign she organized was an example of how even one good deed can have a significant impact. When John's treatment yielded positive results, he decided to share his story. He started speaking at charity events, telling how a small act of kindness changed his life. His story inspired many people to help others, even in the most difficult moments of their lives. One day, John invited Angelina and his daughter to the opening of an exhibition of her work. She named her collection Light Through Darkness, and each painting reflected their journey from pain to hope, from struggle to victory. The exhibition was a great success, and John's daughter received an offer to study at a renowned art college. This story has become a symbol of the power of kindness. John, his daughter, and Angelina proved that even the smallest gesture can set off a chain reaction that changes lives. For Angelina, it was a confirmation of her belief that everyone has the ability to change the world by doing good.